I still remember the moment the message hit. My phone buzzed at 2:43 a.m., the faint glow slicing through the darkness of my bedroom. Half asleep, I squinted at the screen, expecting some random notification. But when I saw her name, Lena Redart, something tightened in my chest. She was supposed to be in Vegas for a work retreat. I unlocked the screen, groggy, and froze. There was a blurry Selfie, her eyes glazed, makeup smudged, standing beside a man in a cheap tuxedo. The caption read, "Married my boss. Don't wait up." For a few seconds, I just stared, my brain struggling to catch up. The world seemed to slow, each heartbeat echoing like thunder. I read it over and over, hoping it was a sick joke. But no. She was smiling, laughing, as if she just pulled off the funniest prank ever. I didn't respond immediately. I couldn't. I sat in silence, fingers hovering over the keyboard, trying to process what I was seeing. The woman I'd built a life with, the one I trusted above all else, was now the punchline of her own cruel joke. That night, I didn't sleep. I scrolled through old messages. "I miss you. Can't wait to come home." Everything suddenly felt like a lie, a script she'd been reading between love and convenience. She'd chosen chaos. I didn't rage. I didn't call. I typed one response. "Congratulations. Hope he treats you better than your husband did." Then I powered off my phone. Morning came, but it didn't feel like morning. The sun was up, but the world looked dim. I stared at the empty side of the bed, her perfume lingering like a ghost that refused to leave. I expected guilt, tears, maybe confusion. Instead, there was only an eerie calm, the kind that comes after a storm has already taken everything it wanted. By noon, the story reached me through mutual friends. Her Vegas trip had been less about conferences and more about cocktails, blurry lights, and bad decisions. The photo had spread among her colleagues, and when I saw it again on someone else's Instagram story, Lena's smile didn't look proud. It looked desperate. I didn't call or text. Instead, I packed a small bag, drove an hour out of town, and ended up at a diner, the kind where nobody knows your name and the coffee tastes like burnt regret. I sat by the window, rain streaking the glass, thinking about how love doesn't always end with a fight. Sometimes it ends quietly, like a candle running out of wax. 2 days later, she called, not once, not twice, but 15 times. Then came the messages. It was a joke. We were drunk. It didn't mean anything. Every word sounded hollow. I'd seen the photo. I'd seen her smile. Some things can't be explained away. So I let the phone ring until it stopped. And when it finally did, I knew something inside me had shifted. A week passed before I saw her again. She showed up at the apartment unannounced, eyes red, mascara streaked, the weight of her choices written all over her. I opened the door, not because I wanted to, but because part of me needed to see if any of what we'd built was still there. "Ethan, please," she whispered, voice trembling. It was stupid. I didn't mean it. We didn't actually get married. It was a joke. You know how Vegas is. I studied her face, searching for the woman I used to love. But all I saw was someone I no longer recognized. "A joke?" I asked quietly. "You sent your husband a picture of you and another man in a chapel and called it a joke?" She reached for me, but I stepped back. For the first time, she looked small, fragile. "I made a mistake. I was drunk," she said. I nodded slowly. "Drunk reveals truth, Lena. It doesn't invent it." The silence that followed was heavier than any argument we'd ever had. She looked down, realizing there was nothing left to say. I told her I'd be filing for divorce that week. And for once, she didn't fight it. Maybe she knew she'd already lost. Months later, I heard she left the company, moved to another city, trying to find herself. Maybe she did, maybe she didn't. As for me, I learned something far more valuable than closure. Peace doesn't come from revenge. It comes from walking away when the fire has already burned everything down. Sometimes life doesn't hand you happy endings. Sometimes it hands you clean exits.